It's time for the Alamo City Golf Tour Power Hour, featuring Travis Salkowski, Dustin Hassan, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Mike DerManuelian. Let's go! Good evening, Alamo City Golf Tour. Welcome to the ACGT Tour Power Hour, week 32. Appreciate you guys joining us. We've got a fun show for you tonight. Lots to talk about. It is the week leading up to playoffs. We have a lot of good stuff to cover tonight. A lot of exciting news, some really fun announcements, and looking forward to getting this thing going. So let's go ahead and bring out the boys. Let's say hi to our friends. Let's start out with Travis. I don't think we've started with Travis in a while. Travis, what's going on, buddy?
What's up? Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It is another Tuesday night. It is October the 11th, and it is 8:30, and it is pitch dark outside. Pitch dark. MD, how the heck are you? Episode 32, eh?
Episode 32 there, eh? Yeah, no, I am great, man. It's hard to believe it's only Tuesday. The week is going by a little slow, but as always, Tuesday nights is there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
It is time for the Power Hour.
It is time for the Power Hour.
Woo!
Let's go. Let's go ahead and you know what? Let's bring in Dustin Hassan. I feel like I haven't heard from DH in a while. What's going on, buddy? He's on silent.
He's on silent.
I remember my first podcast.
Good happening. What's up, guys?
Remember my first podcast?
You're right. It is only Tuesday, but before you know it, it will be round one of the playoffs.
Oh, it's playoff week. We're finally here. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's going to be amazing. DH, good to see you, buddy. And last but not least, let's bring in the man of few words, but by God, if they're not impactful, Jason Bird.
Extremely impactful. Love it.
Extremely impactful.
Good evening, I only speak when I have something to say.
Well, what? Let's open this up. Jason, let's start it off. What do you have to say? What's the word, Bird?
I'm having a fucking banger of the last 2 weeks at work, so these power hours are like my reprieve. I love it.
That's perfect. Can we add the explicit content warning to the graphic on the Facebook Live, please? That's perfect. Jason Bird, it's always a pleasure to have you join us on Tuesday nights. Thank you so much. He's working so hard. He doesn't have time to play and practice. He's coming fresh off of the PC Open where he shot 75-93. Going into the playoffs.
Consistency is key.
Jason Bird, how are you preparing? It is Wednesday night. I'm sorry, it is Tuesday night. It's not Wednesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday night. It is Tuesday night. How are you preparing to come back to Olmos Basin to make your charge up the point standings leaderboard, starting the playoffs with a meager 2 points?
As you alluded to, I haven't had my usual amount of practice or play that I like. I still do my stretches in the morning, and I did try to I got a couple of workouts in last week, but it's not what it's been because of the work. Trying to play on the weekends just to stay somewhat sharp. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I had an encouraging weekend. I played Olmos Basin.
Oh,
I was one under even through 9, and we were carrying the bag, and I got pretty tired towards the end. I think I shot 6 over in the last 4 holes. It wasn't all bad. It was encouraging.
How's the course conditions?
Oh, they're good. They're good. They're in great shape. The greens are still firm. There is no reception in those greens. Everyone who said wait a year, it's going to be receptive. I remember saying I don't think so. They were designed to be firm. I think this is what we're getting. Yeah, they're firm. If you're not hitting it crisp and you have no spin, that ball is gone.
Well, and let's go diagonal down the TV show here, down to Dustin, going into the playoffs with a spot on the team secured. What is your attitude going into the playoffs? We've still got a big prize payout at the end at the Tour Championship. We've still got final playoff rankings, a Tour Championship, a Player of the Year. Tell us what your thoughts are going into this first round that is finally here. No more 3-week layoffs ever. That was so difficult, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you said it, Trav. A lot still up for grabs. Player of the Year, Tour Champion. Spot on the team already secured. But, I'd be lying if I'm saying a little bit of weight hasn't been lifted off the shoulders with securing a spot right in the spring. Still a lot to play for. You're not going to go in there nonchalant, just kind of, still going to be going through the motions, still going to be wanting to minimize your mistakes. You still want to play on the final day. You're still looking, Player of the Year is not out of the question. While Sean Vidal is as a hefty lead, it's not out of the question. So a lot to play for. You always want to be there on Sunday, right? It's always better to be a player than a spectator on Sunday.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate goal, right?
So, yeah, absolutely. Well, there we heard from Jason fighting his way up. We heard from Dustin, who's already on the South Texas Match Play Challenge team. Congratulations, DH, on your spring win. MD, we got a great show tonight. Tell us about it.
So we're going to talk we got some stuff to talk about, I think. Some cool stuff to talk about. I think we'll highlight and give an update. I know we had kind of hinted on having Sean, and not even hinted. I'm pretty sure we just flaunted it that Sean would be on the show this week. But I do believe Sean and his wife welcomed baby number 3, I believe yesterday.
Yes.
So congratulations.
And based on the Facebook marketing coming from the Sexton household, they waited. There was a gender reveal at birth. Who does that anymore?
No.
And another boy for them. So congratulations, Sean Sexton. Thank you so much for your sponsorship of the tour, and congratulations to baby number 3, household of 5.
That is one way to live your life.
When's number 4 coming?
When's number 4 and when's number 5 coming?
I'm one and done. I'm one and done. Just one.
One and done here. One and done. I'll never have can't have a more perfect child. I fear ever having another one. So I know we had said Sean was going to be on talking about the pick. We'll highlight that a little bit. We've got an update on what is going on with the pick. We do have a quick rules segment. I know we had some questions around some specific set of rules. I know Travis had some images he sent me that we'll have up there and kind of talk about that. Really exciting news. We have flights and tea times for the weekend.
Flights and tea times.
Flights and tea times.
Flights and tea times. Special alert. Everyone beep. Everybody watching. The round 1 flights and tea times are going to be released live on the air tonight. We've never done that before.
If you know someone who is not watching the show, who is in the playoffs,
the time is now to see the flight breakdown. We're going to keep you posted. We're going to tease that a little bit, and then we'll bam it up there.
Yep.
But like and share this feed. If you know somebody, tell them that we're going to release these pairings tonight on the show. Tune in, Facebook Live. Let's watch it. Let's get those numbers up. And
it's basically just a reveal of who gets to play with me.
I love when he speaks. It's so great. It's so great. MD, you were going on before Jason Bird, so
at this point, it's just Jason being Jason. It's okay.
I love it.
We still love him. We do have a very special segment with a really cool announcement, a great honor that we get to share with everyone. I know that everyone on here is super excited to talk about it. And then finally, we're gonna wrap it up. We'll talk a little bit more about Olmos. We'll talk a little bit more about the playoffs. So I want to kind of I want to let everyone have a couple of minutes to just talk about Olmos, talk about the playoffs, talk about what this weekend means. Love to hear the perspectives and really, take a little bit of time here to just be excited, man. The weekend is going to come up fast. and it's going to be a great time. So let's dive in. Jason, do you want to kind of lead us off here when it comes to talking about the pick a little bit? I know you had some information to share, and let's let the people know what's going on.
So let's give a little background on that pick too, and the spots that the South Texas Match Play Challenge is made up of, and how this falls into play with that.
Do we want to pull up the?
Absolutely. Well, we are of course talking about the 16 team members that comprise the Alamo City Golf Trail Tour South Texas Match Play Challenge team, which is the culmination of the tour season. It's what everyone's playing for. It's to be on the Ryder Cup team against Houston. And those 16 players come from Jason Bird.
So 15 of them are earned on merit, right? 3 per season. Although this season we had 4 because of a tie in the spring. And the rest come from the final standings at playoffs. And as is tradition, the title sponsor gets a sponsor's pick. And, in years past, the sponsor's pick has been all sorts of things. It's ranged from sponsors just handpicking somebody to go play in the tournament that's deserving, or it's the sponsor giving the pick back to the tournament, so to speak, and having a second horse race candidate or a second wild card. Exactly, or anything like that. We have spoken with our sponsor, Sean Sexton, new father, and he has confirmed that he has decided this year he will pick a person. Now, he doesn't know who he's going to pick. He actually wants to see the final standings of the playoffs that he is going to pick on site at Brackenridge Park after seeing who has made the team and who hasn't, and who got close, who's over there in the corner crying. I don't know who has the bigger checkbook. Who knows? I don't know.
That's exciting.
But yeah, that's
cool.
the update tonight, is that he is going to pick an individual, and that he's going to wait to see who plays for it the hardest, and who makes it on their own, and then go down his list, whatever rhyme or reason that list is. But he did give us the input that it is going to be a specific person selection. So there's the update on the pick. I know that's not a person, it's not the splash to the field, but we did get an update, right? We got that, people wanted to play and make it themselves, and that Sean wasn't ready to pick anybody because he didn't want to discredit the playing of the playoffs, which is awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Jason, thank you so much for the update on that from Sean. I know that you are in it like to win it on who gets that pick. So I know you're up in Sean's ear constantly about what's going on with that. So any updates you can get to the longevity of that list throughout the playoffs, we'd love to hear it live on the air here.
Look, I'm just going to go shoot 65 at Olmos, then like a 58 at Brack, and just make the team on my own.
Ooh.
I'll take the over.
Slightly.
Only barely, right? Only barely. It's not that bad.
Is it bad that I think the 58 would be more obtainable than the 65?
That's a good debate, Dustin. Easier to do 58 at Brack or 65 at
Wow.
Olmos?
Listen, I don't know. 58's tough anywhere you go, right? I think, what'd you shoot at Brack? Was it
64?
66, and you played great. We're talking 8 shots better. So, I mean, where do you make up those shots? Right? Where do you get 8 more shots? I don't know.
Yeah, I
think I'm going to 65 at all this.
Okay. All right, fine. I get it. Yeah, 8 shots. Fine. It's fine. I don't think 65 is touchable at Olmos Basin either, with the firmness and speed that the green speeds are going to have.
It definitely won't be when we're done setting up flags.
Yeah, and let's be real. This is Olmos Basin, and this is the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everyone who is in the field at the playoffs should know what Olmos Basin is like now. And I'll tell you what, anybody in the playoffs is playing to be part of the team that is playing the team matches at Olmos Basin. Right?
Olmos has gotten a lot of exposure this year.
Yeah. So, and we got to be over the complaining about Olmos, right? We got to be over the, oh man, my ball bounced to the back. Now we got to be over that, right?
Expect that.
That is a permanent state of affairs.
Yeah, 3 rounds.
It will not get better.
3 rounds from now at Olmos Basin, we're competing for points, right? We're playing for matches.
Mm-hmm.
We're 5 tournament rounds in there at this point. If you don't know how to play Olmos, you just I don't know.
We are at least past complaining about it, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that comment. That comment from CJ right there. I agree. I can't wait for the Houston guys to play Olmos. I agree.
They're gonna love it. Olmos is awesome.
And I definitely spoke with Randy McKay, who made the Houston team this year. Congratulations to Randy.
Good job, Randy. Yes.
And George Harlow is going to captain their team again. He was the captain last year. I don't know how many times he's captain, but he is in it to win it. He's a great guy. I'd like to have him on the podcast in one of these weeks coming up. I know he was he gave an interview with Andy last year at Wildcat, so I'm pretty sure he'll come on. So I'm excited for that. He was good with the media last time. So, but you're right, Siege. That's a great point. I think the Houston guys are gonna need the practice rounds at Olmos Basin.
Oh yeah,
and you gotta hope that's gonna be enough.
It's autumn now. The weather's cooling off. We can get a little more maintenance done on the greens, a little shorter cut, maybe, Travis. Maybe really make it fire.
The forecast looks great. The temperatures are awesome. This is perfect grass growing weather. Unlimited recycled water there, So CJ, that's awesome, and that's a big thing. Is we encourage spectators, whether it's the playoffs, whether it's the patio at the playoffs. Or watching your buddies play respectfully as spectators. I think that's encouraging. I think that's awesome, and the more people we can have out there cheering us on.
Is there an outdoor kitchen at Olmos now? Did they ever put that one in the pavilion?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. No.
Oh, they have it in Brack, but they don't have it at Olmos.
I wanted to get a little fund going so we could buy like hundreds of little pork missiles or something.
Oh, it's.
Look at DH's face, like, oh,
that's good. Yes.
What? That's DH's favorite in Kohler.
Oh, listen, I go hard. I go hard.
I'll take 2 of them pork missiles. Thank you.
Overload by the end.
I go to Kohler and I don't have to have a brat for another year.
I know. When ACGT Tour travels, when it travels to Kohler, Wisconsin on the Destination Kohler properties, hot dogs and bratwurst are included. It's just a free-for-all on bratwurst.
Just make your money back.
No one told Steve Robert that.
And they're monsters, too.
And you know what? You have a bratwurst at 8:00 in the morning when you tee off, and then you have one at the turn at 10, and then you have one in between, and then you have another one before you start the second round.
It's like
6 or 8.
And if it's the river course, you come by that guy like 3 different times on that course. You're just apt.
And if the Bev
you're on like,
she'll bring you one.
It's the best bratwurst ever. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, you gotta hit a draw around the tree on 16, and you just down 2 pork missiles right before the tee shot. That's why it's so hard.
MD, where are we at? We talked about the pick. We know what's
so we talked about the pick a little bit.
Selection.
So I know you had sent me some stuff on the rule on a ruling question.
So this is one that I wanted to talk about. This isn't specifically the Brackenridge Park question that we had last week on the show. I want to talk about that one specifically with an aerial shot of 18 at Brack next week going into Tour Championship weekend when we go to Brack. So that's the one that you're referencing from the show last week. But this one came up in a different conversation that I had with another PGA professional this past week. And it's one of those weird ones where all of a sudden there's this new rule in there where you can do something different for an extra stroke. And it's actually a part of that rule. And I wanted to talk about that. And that's unplayable lie in a bunker. Unplayable lie in a bunker. So we're playing Olmos Basin. We're playing Brackenridge Park. Lots of big bunkering, right? And these are the 4 options. And this is rule 19.3. Relief options for ball unplayable in a bunker. Okay, so that's the ball there plugged in the lip. What are you going to do? A player decides that his or her ball in a bunker is unplayable. The player has 4 options. So option 1 is always re-hit, right? You can always re-hit from where you came from. 1 stroke. Stroke and distance, go back, hit again, right? +1 penalty stroke. Piece of cake. Everyone's got that one. For 1 penalty stroke, the player may take back of the line relief. They changed that from in line with the flag stick, right? Back of the line relief, staying in the bunker. That is the key to option number 2 there, right? You can go backwards from the location of the ball, keeping the line of the flag stick in your ball. You can go back as far as you want, staying in the bunker. Always been that way, right? For 1 penalty stroke, number 3, for 1 penalty stroke, the player may take lateral relief in the bunker. 1 club length, no closer to the hole, dropping in the bunker, right? Same as always, right? Any questions so far, guys? Same as always, right?
Makes sense.
Clear.
Right? And here's the new one. Number 4, for a total of 2 penalty strokes, the player may take back of the line relief, in line with the flag stick, outside of the bunker based on a reference line going straight back from the hole. So this is one of those rare occasions where you can do A, B, or C for 1 stroke, and then D, number 4, for 2 strokes. And this is going to come right back to next week when we talk a little bit about the opposite margin of a red penalty area. And when we talk about when everyone talks about 2 strokes, they talk about the out of bounds rule where you can just pull it to the fairway and drop for 2 strokes. That is not an actual rule of golf. That is an enacted local rule from the appendix that is not recommended for elite amateur competition, is the way that is actually written. But that is the rule that I wanted to highlight tonight, because it's one of those, you can do this or that for a different amount of penalty strokes. And going into Olmos Basin and into Brackenridge Park, where we have these big, deep, towering bunkers, some of them are a little softer than others. Some of them have some sand in banking places. And I wanted to talk about what to do in an unplayable ball scenario in the bunker.
Awesome. And I mean, Olmos has got some tricky bunkers, and you can easily get caught up in that. And that is a great call.
The sand is fluffy at Olmos Basin. Get that bounce on your wedges.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to one of the big pieces of the night.
Flights and tee times, everybody. Is it that time?
Flights.
Jason Bird. Is it that time, Jason?
I mean, we're gonna reveal my my pairing last, right? We can see who the lucky people are.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely start with 4th flight. And
I have no idea how we're doing this.
Let's
that's
start
the
with,
beauty of live TV.
3rd flight. Let's start
let's start with 3rd flight. Okay, so
there are people too.
Before we put that up, we had 93 RSVPs of the 100. Congratulations, everybody.
Pretty good.
93 competitors coming to round 1.
To start the playoffs?
I was about to say, is that
ever to start the playoffs. It's the most ever to start the playoffs. 93 players. Championship flight. The lowest tour indexed golfer is a plus 2.7. So championship flight goes from plus 2.7 to 6.1. First flight goes from 6.9 to 9.8. Less than 3 strokes separate first flight.
That's great.
That's amazing. I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
And then second flight is 9.9 to 14.6. The most South Texas Match Play Challenge qualifiers are in second flight. I thought that was fascinating. And then third flight is 14.7 to 32.1. So it's the largest spread.
Wow.
So every flight brings something just a little bit different. And in round one of the playoffs starts at 8:30 in the morning on Saturday. And we are cutting to the top 72 players, your starting playoff points, plus your round one points, cut to the top 72. Anybody have any questions on that?
Nope. Sounds good.
And your the notice to the players will come out tomorrow night. We are going to shore up the lists. These are, of course, the first notice to players tee times for round one. Of course, subject to change. And then the second notice to players with the official times will come out Friday, just like normal, in case there's any drop ads or changes, because flights will change right now. It's for real. If there's a drop ad, everybody's going to change in the flights because these are the 93 people we're going to battle with, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Flights
those
change.
Those are the handicap spreads. Those are the flight handicap breakdowns. The first tee time starts at 8:30 in the morning. I think this is a great time to thank our sponsors before we go into the round one flights and tee time breaks, what everybody's waiting for. Here's a big shout out to our 2022 Alamo City Golf Trail Tour 10th anniversary sponsors. Sean Sexton, our presenting sponsor with Goosehead Insurance. You can get to him from the Facebook page. There's links there. Every email, every correspondence has QR codes to get right to Goosehead Insurance, the Sexton agency. And it is almost Rick Hoinzey's time to shine as the 2022 South Texas Match Play Challenge sponsor with Elevated Logistics, the same day delivery leaders in Texas. There's the phone number right there to get to him. He is all over the Facebook page as well and in every tour publication. Thank you guys so much. And the Victory Cookie sponsor, the Cake Place and More rounds out our sponsors for the 2022 tour season. The Cake Place and More, find her on Facebook. Laura Lewis supplies all of the Victory Cookies on tour this year. And the stuff she makes is brilliant. I mean, it's brilliant. Check it out. It's awesome. Whether it's birthday parties or wedding cakes or everything in between, the Cake Place and More on Facebook. Check it out. I just rambled hard there. We are starting with fourth flight. The time is now. We are starting with third flight. There is no fourth flight. 4 flights total. This is third flight. Round one, ACGT Tour Playoffs, third flight, 14.7 to 32.1. The time is now. First tee time, 12 noon. The entire flight in threesomes. Brian Spencer leads the third flight points list with 96. Willie Nichols up there at 95, and the top 3 in third flight there with Michael Giampietro. There as well in the top. Jeff Kanzemius, Brad Haddon, Sam Braswell, Morgan Graff, Ricky Ho with Elevated Logistics. There he is at 36 points. Gerardo Llorente, Josh Jordan, David Felson, Kevin Tennyson, Rudy Fuentes, David Falconer, Ernie Cannon, Joey W. Workman, Las Gonzalez, Timmy Blunt, Francis Vo, Joey Gonzalez, Bill Cohn, Paul Pena, Tim Price, and Jermaine Bowen round out third flight. Look at all those guys in the single digits. More than half the flight in single-digit point standings. Anything can happen here. Somebody else is doing the next flight. That was a lot for me.
All right, let's have DH take us into second flight.
Second flight,
Yeah,
9.9 to
second flight.
14.6.
3 qualifiers already for the South Texas Match Play Challenge team in this flight. So congratulations. You'll notice those highlighted names.
The sponsor?
Leading it off. Yeah, Sean Sexton down there with it already, locking it up in the spring season. But 10:50 tee time, we got Scotty Williams, Jeremy Semlinger, and Steve Robert. We got a foursome there, and Jason Cross, my man Jay Cross, foursome starting out the flight. Good little foursome there going into Ray Kang, Renee Ubaye, Micah Carroll, and our very own Sean Sexton.
That's a great group too.
That's a great foursome. 11-10 pairing, we got Greg Graff, Jonathan Harder, Michael Martinez, and Kyle Young.
Wow.
11-20, Sean Wolf, Christopher Walker, Roy Medina, and Michael Montgomery. That's your 11-20 tee time. 11-30, Robert Bender, Art Mesa, Trace Davis, and Landon Parkinson. It's going to be a good group. And rounding out your flight, we've got 11-40, Mark Reiser, Callum Stonehouse, and Paul Contreras. All fighting.
Stonehouse is such a good name.
That's so cool. Lots more points in second flight there. Way less single digits down there. Second flight. Anything can happen in second flight. Look at 3 people already on the team. There's going to be some drama coming from second flight.
I think so too. I think we're going to have a lot of attention on second flight, Trav.
All right, let's jump into first flight. So, first flight, we do have one team member already in first flight.
Ruben, congratulations, Ruben.
But opening up the 9:40 tee time, you have Tim DeHoyos, Bradley Gilbert, Greg Keogh, and Captain Kent.
Kent?
9:40.
Lots of points there.
That's the all nice guy group right there.
It really is.
That's the all first team all nice guy right there.
And that's a great group. And then 9:50, got David Thomas, Baldo, Ruben Ramirez, and Mark Kacheski rounding that second tee timeout. And then Chris Arnold, Dennis Donoski, VJ Kirky, Lucas Nato, the Tornado.
Haven't seen him lately. Where he been?
He's been working a lot. But he's excited for the playoffs. He's here.
Is he coming to Kohler?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Make him come. Make it happen, Dustin.
Make it happen. We got Julian De Hoyos, Tyler Pascal. Ooh, that's a fun group. You got Edward Canny, Barry Gooden, Dakota. How do I say this last name?
Albers.
Dakota Albers.
Is it that? Okay.
Yep,
I want to just make sure red is easy as it looked.
He got a great mustache.
Yep.
Bob World mustache.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The mustache and mullet. That was
yes,
fantastic.
It's so dirty. It's so dirty.
I love it. It's good. And he's in it. He's 100% tour in it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got Bob North.
No one wanted to play the PC Open more than that guy.
Yeah. Claudia Ramirez, who had a great showing at the PC Open at Olmos.
It snuck Claudia's PC Open showing snuck her into the crossover. So
I would be on the lookout for her to do something.
Yeah.
Chris Hughes.
You got Cooper Willard. You got Chris Hughes, Tyler Cook, and rounding out first flight, Michael St. Clair. So a lot of good golfers. A little bit more points out there in first flight, but still, I think this may be the flight with the biggest kind of difference in points. You got a lot of zeros there, and then it's going to be.
Oh, you're calling zeros?
I'll tell you what though. 6.9 to 9.8, 2.9
yeah,
strokes.
A lot that
is a tight bell curve.
Right.
That is
guys. As we all know, Tyler's my boy. I got to tell you, I played with Tyler a couple times lately, and that flight needs to watch out. Our boy learned how to putt. So I got to put betting odds on that one, I think. I like Tyler to win that flight this weekend.
Oh, can we pull up the flight? Can we pull up the flight again, please? Beep, special.
I just want to put that out there. I just want to put that out there.
Beep.
You calling him the winner of the flight, or are you saying he's your wild card pick to find to sneak onto the team?
B14.
No, I'm just saying.
So you think he is the gross favorite in this flight right now tonight.
Both days, yes. I'm just talking both days at Olmos. If we were to combine both rounds, I think he wins that flight, yes.
Okay. We will see what happens.
That's my prediction. He's playing well. I mean,
you've heard it here first.
Heard the bold prediction. We need to get a, we have this special bulletin graphic that goes beep. We need the bold prediction graphic. Bird's bold prediction.
Hot take. Fire the hot take cannon.
Well, while Bird is continuing to call out bold calls here, Bird, why don't you take us into Champ Flight and make some predictions?
Here we go. Jason Bird commentating Champ Flight. Here we go, folks.
8:30 in the morning. I mean, early wake up call. Going to be slugging into the course. Sean Vidal, Stephen Evans, Dustin Weldon, and Sandoval. He snuck into the first. Oh no, he got the second tee time. Look at that. Oh, he's playing with Casey and Chris and MD. That's a good pairing.
Oh yeah, group. I like that.
That's a fun
MD
group.
Sneaks in there.
Dustin just missed out on that group, but he gets to play with his boy Aiken. Is this rigged?
Okay.
Is this rigged?
It is not rigged. The points are in order right there, Jason. They're right there in order.
This looks rigged. Playing with Danny Lee. I heard Danny Lee's dad won like a hole-in-one contest today. It was a great story I heard. I've never heard that one before. So congrats to Danny Lee's dad. I'm glad you passed that polygraph. I'm glad you passed that polygraph.
How'd you beat it?
Listen,
he's
not
on
a lie.
He's watching. He's watching. So great. We were talking about that. We'll touch base on that in a later podcast. That's a great story. That is a great story. I'll never.
I'm gonna get him in here. Let's talk to him right now. Chris Espinoza just volunteered to bring breakfast tacos to his entire team.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
It better be the entire flight.
Bacon, egg, and cheese, Chris. 2, please.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. I think we call that the gringo taco. Jeff wants to say Keogh's taking first flight. Let's put some action on it.
Okay. Jeff Wern takes Greg Keogh. Okay, before we get into that, let's continue running down Champ Flight. The top 25% of our elite amateurs playing in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yes. 9:00 tee time. Everyone's best friend, Zach Johnson.
Yeah, it's correct.
Austin McDowell, who would love to establish a second handicap as a left-hander.
We are also going to research that.
I did research it for you. Definitely can't do that. Jeremy Jaramillo. Haven't seen him in a while, but I am glad to see him in the playoffs. He was a commit today, so he was on the fence. So I'm glad to see him in there. We got James Conner playing on them. That's a good foursome.
Yeah, James Conner. That is A23. He's the Champ Flight break.
Yes, I believe he is a former team member who had a scheduling conflict, unfortunately. So he has made the team. He has gone and run the gauntlet.
Yes, he has made the team, but not played on the team.
Correct. And then, of course, the highlighted foursome, the 9-10
group.
Copyright.
And we're shut down.
We're off.
And we're off.
Seth Henry, long ball. Jason Bird, short ball. Brad Huey, long ball.
Yeah.
Trevor Bailey,
really long ball.
290-yard 2 irons. It's insane. I can't believe I got to watch that bullshit again. Like, I already seen this show once. God dang it. But that'll be fun.
I'd like to highlight Jason Bird's 2 points on this graphic.
Yeah, it's terrible. But it's still one more than Huey, so I got that going.
And then let's look at that. Let's look at the people in Champ Flight with 0 points.
Yes.
None of these people are out of anything. None of them.
People who
Trevor Bailey, PC Open champion, Bart Wilson, former Masters champion and Olmos Basin course record holder, Eric Huitapol, he won in champ flight in the summer season. Roman Ramirez won his flight in the PC Open to get in the crossover. And John Guerra won his flight in the PC Open to get into the crossover.
Strong flight.
I mean, that is strong. I mean, Bird said run the gauntlet a second ago. But everybody, these pairings, MD, correct me if I'm wrong here, but these pairings are going on the Facebook page immediately following the show?
Immediately following the show.
I love it. That's awesome. And your first notice to players is going to come via email tomorrow night. Casey is going to double check all of the templates and the formats and everything that Casey does for the points tabulation, because Casey is the cut master.
He's the lore master.
Well, he's the lore master. I mean, that's his historian.
He wears many hats.
Yes, we need to get him some wizardy hats. Yeah,
like Gandalf.
For some reason, lore master. I just think he should have a Gandalf hat.
It does make sense. Like, you got to have a staff and a hat.
Yes. It just makes sense to me, like a Father Time thing.
A story.
You
should get like some hobbits as little pets.
That's
what MD and I feel like.
Yeah. Is MD a hobbit?
Well, I mean, I am not MD alone. No.
Do you honor the time-old tradition of 11sies?
I'm a second breakfast type of guy for sure.
I practice second breakfast.
Sure. I had a canoe named Second Breakfast once. That's a true story.
So Casey wants to be referred to as Daddy. Can we discuss that?
I will only say it if we're going to say it in a
no. We're changing subjects. Yep. This is not ACGT Tour After Hours. This is ACGT Tour Power Hour, episode 32.
Master Daddy King.
Oh my God. We're gonna moving on.
Beep.
So our next topic. This is actually really special. This is really cool. It's a really kind of unique honor that we get to talk about tonight. This is and he's gonna hate talking about himself. I know he does.
I just figured out what we were talking about. I didn't even
surprise.
I didn't even make the graphic.
But here we go. It's. I mean, we're gonna talk about it. So, for those of you who are not aware, which should be kind of everyone, so welcome to the party. Our very own Travis Salkowski, nominated for Southern Texas section PGA Professional of the Year. That is an incredible honor, an incredibly amazing thing to happen. Just to be nominated, to be involved in that, and it's not something that that happens, or is taken lightly. And it's one of those really cool things where he's being acknowledged by his peers. Another PGA professional has to actually nominate you for that position or for that honor. So it's a really, really cool thing. So we wanted to call that out and say congrats to Travis and talk us through a little bit about it, bud.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for not telling me that it was coming, because I definitely would have cut it from the script.
Surprise, sucker.
Yeah, that's exactly what's right. Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. It was really neat. Because that one's peer nominated. So that's
is
another,
correct.
That's another PGA. That. That's another PGA professional taking time to do that. It's
I think you have like multiple people nominate you to get on the final list, right?
Yeah, and
so it's not just one person. There's multiple fellow PGA pros that nominated you,
and it was so cool. And I was talking about it. I was talking about it with MD a little bit when we were, because there's a questionnaire, and you submit questions and you submit your golf philosophy, and we were going through these questions, and it hit us kind of both as I was answering that my answers to these golf questions were so different and so unorthodox from the PGA club professionals that win this award a lot, right? Your private club PGA professionals, catering to members, growing junior golf programs, food and beverage, blah, 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 cart operations, hiring, firing, all of that good stuff is in these questionnaires. And when I was filling out the answers to those, it was such a different avenue in the golf industry. It was really fun. It was really fun to do that. And I appreciate it so much. And thank you to whoever nominated me. That is an anonymous nomination, so I don't know. But thank you so much. It is a really cool honor, and it's really special and humbling to be recognized for doing what you do and doing what you do and love to do it, and you get to call it work at the same time. And I think it's really special. And the guys gave me a real hard time about it, so I appreciate that. And again, they didn't tell me that this segment was happening tonight, so thank you so much. Thank you so much to those guys who commented on it. Thank you so much to MD for putting the graphic together. That is a good golf swing that I put together. That golf swing is from Torrey Pines this year, so I hit that shot good.
I do want to say your swing. I think your swing is looking as good as it's ever looked.
MD said the nicest thing to me when I forwarded him the email about the award. He said, "You know what, buddy? I know you don't want to talk about it, but if not now, when? For real?" And it was so refreshing. And I say it a lot. And I thank the ambassadors a ton, and I thank the golfers a ton. And to sit back here and at the end of the day have your friends on a podcast with you 32 freaking weeks in a row, repping the tour product. I mean, it's overwhelmingly emotional. We need to change the subject. But thank you so much. Thank you so much to the ambassadors. Thank you so much to what you guys do. Thank you so much to the golfers. Good luck to everybody in the playoffs this week. We need to change the subject.
Let's okay. So I think, we're kind of at the end of the show. I think that's kind of what we wanted to kind of finish up with. But I do also want to just real quick. Obviously, we've been talking about it for weeks now. It's playoff time. We're playing it almost. We got all these things going on. I wanted to kind of get everyone's opinion, get some thoughts, and get a little bit of conversation going around kind of final discussion around golf around almost the playoffs. Would love to have each of you kind of just give me a breakdown. It's my first time playing, and we've got a lot of people that are playing here for the first time in the playoffs. We have people that have been there in the playoffs before, and they're in a position where they maybe haven't been, where it's maybe they're further back than they're used to. Maybe they're right up at the top and they're not used to that. How do you guys, as guys who have been on the team, as guys who have competed, won, performed well in the playoffs, talk us through kind of what this weekend should look like for that golfer, and what kind of expectations to set for themselves, and maybe some ways to think about just going around this golf course this weekend to produce a result that's going to get them there next weekend. So we'll start with Berg. Talk us through your thoughts here.
Like, listen, if this weekend's your first time playing at Olmos somehow, please do not play a practice round, because that is going to be easy pickings for me. Just stay home, practice, stretch. You don't need to see the golf course. It's easy.
This is the time of the show where it turns self-serving.
Yes, of course. It's solid
I'm surprised
advice.
it took this long.
It's solid advice. At this point, you don't need to see the course. Stay home, rest your body.
Don't overthink it, right? Golf.
Yeah, don't overthink it. You hit the fairway, you hit the green, and then you make some birdies, you make some
just
pars,
remember to
shoot
throw
a
it right at the
65.
pin every time. Just be aggressive.
Oh yeah, of course. It's a muni. So just
so good. I mean, that's so good. Of course, that is exactly the opposite of what our next guest Dustin Hassan is going to recommend that you do.
I don't think so. Dustin will agree with me.
Exact opposite. As much as I like to agree with Bird. Yeah, someone made a good point. I think it was Travis earlier in the show, right? We played Olmos now 5 times this year. When that second shot on number 1 hits just short of the pin and bounces to the back or bounces 15 feet past the hole, stop waiting for the next few greens to be receptive. Play it like
it's
like,
not
like
going
it
to
is.
change.
Stop.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, stop saying, well, number 2 is going to hold a little better. 3 is going to hold. No, 3 is not going to hold from 225.
5's just a wedge in. It'll hold.
Not going to. So
just remember, 16 is the slowest green on the golf course.
Yeah.
What?
So yes, we played it many times. I think most people, if not everyone, who's qualified for the playoffs has done at least one this year. So more or less what to expect. But yeah, I mean that's it. It's not going to change. I mean, stop expecting the ground to react differently. Stop expecting the ball to not bounce so hard or firm. It's going to happen. Play it and. Just don't shoot yourself out of it.
Hit the ball high with a ton of spin. That's all I can say. Hit it super high with a ton of spin.
Low, boring shots. I don't know what a high shot is.
Yeah,
I've been thinking
it's perfect chipper, bro. Olmos Basin is
perfect chipper.
I was thinking a lot about Olmos this weekend and I've been thinking about it the last couple of weeks. And I think this golf course, I think at this point, again, we've played it so many times in competition now. I think this weekend is a weekend that you have to kind of respect the golf course and what it's going to demand of you and how you have to go around playing it. It's I hate talking about Brack because it's we're still off from Brack, but Brack is that golf course. I think we've all played it a million times now. We know we can go post scores. Olmos is one of those courses where we could potentially go see some low scores, but we also know high numbers are out there. Course is going to.
I agree. Don't you think it's survive, throw darts? I mean,
that's right.
There's
no guarantee you're going to get to Brack, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between the firmness at Brack and the firmness at Olmos. It's almost diametrically.
I mean, it's really neat actually when you think about it.
Craters.
This one statistic.
The way
the prep for Olmos is going to look night and day different for Brack. I think that's such a great dynamic. But I think really this weekend is I hate to say survival weekend because I don't think it's a survival weekend. I think everyone should go out there, play your game, and I think you have to look at these rounds as it's another round of golf. I'm in champ flight. I'm not normally in champ flight. I do not control anyone else's swing for the entire weekend other than mine.
That's a good point, MD. That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
And I think that, I think this weekend is going to be really fun. I think everyone just needs to remember and just respect the golf course, respect their game and know their game and know where they need to be out there. And just have fun. It's just another round of golf.
So
we're having fun?
We were doing our pre-show warm-ups.
I'd say that.
We were doing our pre-show warm-ups tonight, and Casey jumped on. And Casey jumped on and told us that with the 93 players, that it's going to drive the cut line down. So what did he say was his prediction? 31 to 34 points only.
You got a chance.
So you're not out of it, but the first round is more than just semantics with 93 players. Go out, get as much as you can. And I hate to use the word survive too, because I don't want to put anybody on the defensive to start, right? Because go get it, right? You earn that invite, go get it, go earn your spot. But if we're talking the dynamics of the playability of the courses, it sure feels like survive, throw darts.
Yeah, it's the golf course is set up to play in almost no matter how you set it up. It can be extremely gettable, but it doesn't make it actually gettable.
What does that mean?
Course, you could throw those pins in the middle of every green in a flat spot every single time, and I promise you,
What was
people are going to.
Can we? That's a great question. Can we scoring average the PC Open right quick? Day 1 to day 2, just raw gross numbers, day 1 to day 2.
I mean, if we can even just
like,
tell me.
Remember, it was like 8 strokes different. Remember that?
No, across the whole field though.
Yeah, like across the whole field, the stroke average is 8 higher on day 2 or something like that.
I mean, but the golf course still played difficult. And if you look, and I think the other thing too is I think when we think about Brackenridge, the big thing is I have to go to Brack and make birdies. There's too many holes on that golf course. It's too short from no matter where you end up playing that you're anticipating birdies. Olmos is one of those courses where you don't have to make birdie. If you could make a couple of birdies, you're picking up a lot of strokes. But we talked about this before, where there were a couple of holes where making par.
I think every hole. I think every hole at Olmos Basin in the PC Open par was strokes gained on your flight. Every hole, every flight.
Yeah.
Opening the database. Here we go.
And I think that's an important thing to call out. And I think it's something that you need to have. It's a different, again, this is just a mentality of the round and a mentality of the golf course, which is birdie is always going to be good, but pars out there are never going to hurt you.
I agree.
Even the occasional bogey out there, even if you make a couple of bogeys, that doesn't necessarily hurt you. I agree completely. The golf course statistically is going to play hard.
And I love your comment on a potentially a different flight, because as the cuts happen and the flights shrink, the flights change from day to day, from round to round. Yep. So round 2, the top 72 players is 4 flights of 18. So MD, for example, you were what, A21 on that graphic? Mm-hmm. If by some chance 17 or 18 people in championship flight advance with you, there's a chance that you could bump back down to first flight for Sunday's round 2. So the flights are all fluid based on the total points earned in that round in relationship to the cut line. So,
and Trev, I did have a question for you in regards to scoring. Some people out there may not know. I don't really remember it myself. When it comes to scoring on these events, so let's say I'm playing like a 5.4 or something like that, whatever. Let's say I go out at Olmos on Saturday and I fire off a net 61. Am I at risk of being adjusted?
No, not in the playoffs. So the adjustment rule that you're referencing is for 2-day stroke play tournaments. Each round is its own tournament. So in the first notice to players and the playoff welcome invite, it answers this question. And that was a great segue, MD. That was an awesome bit. That specifies that your starting playoff index, tour index, will be good for rounds 1 and 2. There will be no adjustments in between round 1 and 2. And that those scores will get entered into the database, and that will populate your tour usable index for round 3 and round 4. No adjustment in between again. So the adjustment that we use on tour is to protect the field for a 2-day stroke play tournament. And our playoff format is 1-day tournament, 1-day tournament. That was correct. That was MD asking a question for somebody else when he didn't feel like telling that person to read the email.
Yeah.
Okay, so
all of that information is available on your very own personal
smart device.
Smart device.
I have the scores up from the PC Open. Only 3 holes over 2 rounds played under par for the lowest handicaps, and that was day 1, 9 and 18, and day 2, number 9. Those are the 3 holes that played under par for champ plate. There were no other under par holes.
So is there a way to pull it? I don't know if this is like too much work, but again, I just want to highlight what pars mean out on the golf course. Is there a way to pull like first flight or second flight and tell us what our maybe net winner or what our our gross winner had for like amount of pars over the course of the weekend. Just to say, hey, I mean, if you can put together, maybe 10 good pars throughout your round or throughout even maybe your weekend, it might put you in a position.
I think John Guerra in first flight was 73-73. So he played great. But then I think he won first flight by several shots.
Yeah, I can pull up the results.
Because again, I think it highlights. I think a lot of times we put pressure on ourselves out on the golf course. Say, I got to go make a par here, or I got to go make a birdie here, and it's one of those things where, I mean, again, we talk about 15, 16, 17, 18 being some of the toughest finishing holes out there, and realistically, and we saw it on day one and day two at the PCA Open, where the people who were able to go out there and just make the par. If they made a birdie, great, but just making the par,
I agree completely.
Themselves.
I agree completely. The bookends at Olmos Basin are the toughest.
22 out of 36 holes were pars for John Guerra, first flight winner.
Which is pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive. Can we do second place gross? Second place gross, first flight.
Second place gross, first flight is...
I bet you this number falls to 15. Don't tell me the name, but...
For first flight?
Oh, the drama, the silence.
21.
21? Didn't drop at all? Wow, that's great playing.
I can just tell you that your first flight gross winner had more birdies than eagles. So maybe you do need to go get birdies and eagles.
And honestly, so I played with him on the second day, and it was, I mean, just a lot of good putts. And that's, some days you're going to figure out, and that golf course, I mean, they're not tough greens to read, and they're not tough greens to putt on, but I mean, they always seem to just right of it, just left of it. And in the day that you really, and you put the right pace on it, they're just dropping. They will drop.
Well,
so
he
played great.
I love the crazy difference between
20 for sixth place gross.
I mean, that's great.
That I have.
I love the dynamic change between Olmos Basin one weekend and Brackenridge Park the next weekend. I think that's going to be really fascinating. And I think I'd offer my opinion to everybody to be aggressive at Olmos Basin, to go get it. Especially if you're, mid to mid bottom, go get it. There could not be a tomorrow.
20.
Go get it. So right there, it's in the bell curve. Yeah. Can we show the flights and pairings again?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's run through it. Let's keep them up there for a couple minutes each. Let's run through the big announcement from tonight. We're going to start backwards again. This is third flight. These are the flight breakdowns with starting time for round one of the 2022 ACGT Tour Playoffs this weekend at Olmos Basin. Dustin, what do you see on the third flight pairing board here that says, wow, I want to pay attention to this?
Well, I think that, a couple of names that stand out to me. Brian Spencer, right? He's been playing well all year. 96 starting playoff points. It's a pretty good start for the playoffs, right? It definitely doesn't guarantee you anything. So you still got to come with 4 solid rounds. But I'm interested to see what Jeff Gonzemius is going to do. Jeff's been one of our loyal tour members. He really wants to make one of these teams. I know he's fired up going into the playoffs. Starting points of 67, pretty good starting position. I'm interested to see what he's gonna bring to the table.
Middle of the pack there. Starting out with 9 points, Rudy Fuentes, and 11 points, Kevin Tennyson. I think those guys are right in the mix. I think Las Gonzalez has been playing well down the stretch. I think
Morgan's the easy pick. I agree with CJ.
I think Morgan Graff played well at the PC Open. I think she is advancing to the final weekend for sure. She's going to be there at the end for sure. But it's hard. It's hard to Willie Nichols already on the team. I hate to not mention Willie Nichols.
Don't forget Sam Braswell there. Sam Braswell, qualifier last year. He knows what it takes. He knows, what you need to get it done here at this time of year. So he's another one you got to kind of keep your eye on, I think.
Yeah. That's a good flight. All right, let's see their second flight. Lots of yellow on this graphic. Who made this one? 3 team members in this flight. Jason Bird, What do you see here on the second flight pairings graphic that says, drama?
Well, I mean, they have a pretty tight grouping, not as tight as first flight. So let's see here. What kind of insight can I get? I mean, Trace Davis, in it till the end at Olmos Basin sticks out to me. He was playing well. Right in the middle of that flight, can go gross or net, right in good position there.
I think this is Sean Wolf's year. I think Sean Wolf is going to play well at Olmos Basin. And you know what? I think Rene Ubaye is going to play well at Olmos Basin as well. And we know those guys in the first foursome there, Scott and Jeremy already on the team. They are not going to go out there and give anybody a free ride. They're playing to steal points, right?
Spoilers.
So how do guys like Steve Robert, Jason Cross, and Ray Kang, all with 75 points or above, how do those guys hang? Who's in the horse race? I mean, this is great. I love it. It's awesome. MD, second flight here. What do you see?
I kind of like Greg Graff. I think Greg is going to play really well. I think Greg's going to go out there and Greg's going to be Greg and go out and have fun, but I feel like Greg Graff is going to put on a performance this weekend.
I'm glad you brought that up. Look at Greg Graff.
I don't think we've talked enough about Greg Graff.
I'm sorry, C22.
I love Greg Graff.
So into second flight, Greg Graff has gone from a fourth flighter to a third flighter to a second flighter in the playoffs. Congratulations, Greg Graff. Your handicap is plummeting. You've got 47 points to show for it. What you going to do now?
Does anyone hit more balls than him?
Morgan?
I mean, the wear marks on his brand new irons blow my mind.
I mean, he's got to change his grips like every 3 weeks.
That's accurate.
I don't know. I'm going to go. I like Sean Wolf. Chris Walker was on the team last year out of this flight.
Walk.
Mark Reiser has been on the team out of this flight. This flight is stacked.
Jason Cross came out of the very first.
Rene Ubaye's been on the team. Micah Carroll's been on the team.
There's a lot of guys who have been there before.
Steve Robert has been on the team.
Yep.
Robert.
I mean, this flight is stacked. But let's get to the real flight that is really stacked. Here it is. 2.9 strokes separate these 23 playoff-bound golfers. Dustin Hassan, can you provide us your professional analysis of first flight?
There's so many people you can go with, right? Tim DeHoyas, coming off a qualification last year. You got Mark Kacheski, who's come on strong since the end of the spring season.
I love how we spelled Baldo's name with the double capitals. I love that.
Boob.
Yes,
multiple team qualifier. But I something in me, I can't get away from Greg Keogh. He's hungry to make one of these teams. I know he's been playing well.
Greg Keogh hungry?
I think you really got to keep an eye out for him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of this flight.
I think that is an astute comment.
Astute.
I'm gonna take. Congratulations to Ruben Ramirez, summer season qualifier. I know he was there counting points at the end. Congratulations to Ruben. Mark Kacheski won the Masters this year.
Yes.
Lucas Nato, Player of the Year last year. Claudia Ramirez won her flight at the PC Open.
Claudia played great.
But you know what? You're right. This flight's stacked, and I'm going to take who I think has the most preparation at Olmos Basin. I'm taking Bradley Gilbert out of this flight.
BG.
That's a
BG.
Brad Gilbert.
Yep.
He is hungry.
City
He
in the
wants it this
ghetto.
year. He's got a great mustache, and
epic.
I think, you know what? No disrespect to Greg, no disrespect to Captain Kent, and I mean, listen, do we even have to talk about it? Because Baldo always figures it out. He's going to be right there at the end, whether he's on the team or in the horse race. Baldo's there at the end, so he's going to figure it out.
I would love to be in the horse race.
And then that middle grouping of first flight here is so tight. I mean, anything can happen in this flight. 2.9 strokes is nothing.
Yep.
It's nothing. Anything can happen in that flight. But if I had to lay odds right now and pick a couple people to come from this flight, I would take the fan favorite and take Baldo, and then I would pick Brad Gilbert, and then I think I would go with Dustin and Greg next. I think David Thomas is playing well. Chris Arnold, Double D, Dennis Danowski's playing well.
I love DD.
I haven't seen VJ in a bit, but he was playing great this spring season. He was at the top
Playing
of the
great.
leaderboard.
He was
He was at the top of the
killing it in
leaderboard
the
with
spring.
you for a lot of the spring.
Top
Bob
3 for a lot of
North.
those weeks.
Nobody on this page is hungrier than Dakota Elbers. He wants it bad. Then there's Chris Hughes, and Michael St. Clair is always in the gift cards. Some way or another, Tyler Cook has been right there. This flight is stacked, and I think this whole flight is drama.
Yeah.
So that takes us into the last grouping here, which would be Champ Flight. Let's talk Champ Flight a little bit.
Champ Flight's so fun to talk about because everybody on that page can break par. Everybody on that page has the ability to break par from top to bottom. Whether it's from the green tees as a senior or from the black tees or normally in first flight on the blue tees. I mean, those guys can be right there too. We saw John Guerra at 73 in the PC Open. Roman was right there. Bart Wilson is the Olmos Basin course record holder at 67. Jason Bird's been in the mid-60s before. Brad Huey hits the ball a mile. Trevor Bailey's index is under par. We don't have to talk anymore about him.
Let's not talk about that guy anymore. I'm tired of that guy.
Steven Evans.
Tired of that guy too. I don't want to talk about that guy either.
But man, 3 guys on the screen with me right now are on this graphic. That's why I wanted to end with this graphic. MD, I'm so glad we went in this order. I want to end the show with y'all's final thoughts going into the weekend for y'all personally. Not what you recommend for everybody else. This graphic says, hey, you 3 guys earned that spot in championship flight. Here we are, a voice of authority. But let's tell us what y'all are thinking. MD, pull that graphic out of there. Let's go around the horn from you guys tonight. It is playoff week. It is Tuesday. Where are y'all at? MD, you're in the middle of the point standings up top. Bird, you're at the bottom of the point standings, but still with points. And Dustin, you're on the team, middle of the point standings. So everyone's kind of from a different angle, but let's end the show tonight with what you're doing this week personally going into to round 1 of the playoffs. And then we'll let MD take it away from there. MD, you want to go first or last?
I'll start it off since I'm going to finish it up.
You're not first, you're last.
You're not first, you're last.
Well, hell, you could be second, third, or fourth.
That's accurate. This, I think I'm in like 19th place, something like that. My game feels really good right now. I don't get to practice Olmos. We've played 5 competitive rounds out there. I have 5 rounds at Olmos. I'll be playing Olmos on Friday and getting a for fun practice round in and just kind of trying to play it. little bit further back tees. I think this weekend was some good practice. I got to go play a round of golf this weekend with Travis, and we decided to play the golf course from the back tees from maybe 2 paces off the back.
Yeah, it was a dumb idea for me.
It was.
I played great on the front 9. I shot even on the front, and then I didn't play very good on the back 9.
Yeah, I mean,
as a matter of fact, I stopped playing.
It was
WD.
For me, my biggest focuses this week are just, again, I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, and I don't want to overthink the round of golf. For me, I still just want to go out. I want to go have fun. I want to, be competitive. But I also want to know my game and stay within myself. It's just practice. It's just putting in the reps and making sure, the swing feels how I know it should feel. I have access to my simulator thing here that I practice on. So I practice there, get some practice in this week at Olmos, put a lot of focus on putting and chipping and just kind of the short game and just making sure I can keep stuff in control. But I said it earlier, I'm going to go out and play my game. I'm going to go out and play golf. I have a great group of people to go play with on Saturday. Like, it's a bunch of my buddies. Like, so I'm really just trying to not put too much emphasis on it being a playoff event for me.
Final question, MD, is the chipper in the bag this weekend at Olmos Basin?
It is not.
Moving on to Jason.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the chipper is not in my bag.
Oh, Jason, same question. How are you leading up to the playoffs, knowing what you know about the tour playoffs and where you need to be and what you need to do to get into the horse race, which is what we're factoring for you personally, is the goal is to get into the horse race. You absolutely can still qualify outright for the team, but let's hear your preparatory thoughts and what you got going on.
I'm going in with pure confidence and no practice. So, I'm going to go up there and beat the shit out of the ball, get some good wedges, make some putts, make it to Brack. That's my course. I play Brack really well, even when I'm not playing well.
Survive, throw darts. That's what it is right there.
It's like don't shoot 90 at Olmos. Survive, darts. It's like, can I shoot 75 at Olmos? Can I grind that out? And then I know at Brack, like my absolute ceiling is like 75. Like I'm having a bad day shooting 75 at Brack. So I just need to get there first, right? So that's my mindset right now.
That's right. I agree.
All right. Well, let's
there
bring
we
it
go.
over to DH.
Dustin, you prepping on the way out?
I have a little different mindset than these two guys on the screen, right? With that said, I don't take it any less lightly. While I don't want to think too far ahead, I'll be kind of playing this round and thinking about some things, for against Houston in the match play. We will be playing there at Olmos, so I'll have a little bit of that in my mind. Survive through the weekend, really get to Brack, kind of build on the confidence, kind of see what happens. But it's more of a confidence booster going into the match play challenge. Still a lot up for grabs, right? So again, you don't take it lightly, but maybe we can go there, fire like Bird said, a couple 75s at Olmos. Olmos seems to get me more than any other course on tour. So I have more of a personal goal to shoot 75 or better at Olmos. And that will just kind of help my confidence going into the match play. But looking forward to it, man. Playoffs. I mean, it's here.
It's here. Here we are. No more layoff weeks. Notice to players coming tomorrow night. We're excited. Guys, thank you for watching. MD, it's all to you to take us away, bud.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being on tonight. Appreciate all the insight. Appreciate just good conversation. Again, congrats to Travis for his nomination. Super excited about that.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
And to everyone out there, here we are. We've been talking about it for weeks. We've been talking about it for months. I feel like playoffs are coming. Playoffs are here, and the next couple of weeks are going to be intense golf. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is what the year is about. It builds up to this, to these moments. This is where we really set the stage for who wants it the most, and we get to go see who does go get it. So from all of us here, Power Hour, episode 32, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. We look forward to seeing you this weekend. Keep up with the Facebook page. We're going to have more announcements. We'll have all that good stuff coming up for you. And we look forward to seeing everyone bright and early on Saturday, round 1 of the playoffs. Let's go, baby.
Woo, playoff week is
night,
here,
everyone.
guys. Thank you for watching. Good night. We'll see you this weekend, and we'll see you next week here on episode 33 of the ACGT Tour Power Hour. Good night, everybody.
Good night.